We have Chance Johnmeyer. He is the founder of Recall Florida. You see the song, right? That's why I picked it. Chance, welcome to the Pensacola Morning News, sir.
Andrew, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Good to have you. So let's start from scratch, imagining that many people in our audience, I'm sure it's true, have no idea what Recall Florida is trying to accomplish. Give them your 30-second pitch. What is Recall Florida all about?
Recall Florida is a political activist group approaching 4,000 members from 64 counties. These members that have joined on with us are tired of corrupt county commissioners, and they want the power, the citizen power, to be able to do something about it. Currently in the state of Florida, there's only 20 counties, and that also includes municipalities or incorporated cities that have the power to recall. What Recall Florida simply wants to do is we want to be able to extend that right of recall to all 67 counties. And I might add also that with this upcoming bill that we have coming up in this next session, that also includes county officers.
Oh, okay. So it's actually, because when I read the bill that was filed last year, I think the version of it was municipalities, council members, county commission members in incorporated counties, and then you would have added unincorporated counties, non-charter counties like ours, and then that. But you're saying the bill is actually going to involve, clerk of the court, sheriff, school board. It's going to be everything.
Let me clarify one thing. It is not going to include school board.
Okay.
The five county officers are the sheriff, the supervisor of elections, the tax collector, property appraiser, and the clerk of court.
Okay, thank you for correcting me. I appreciate that. So basically, for folks who are not familiar with it, there's already a pattern for recalling some county level or city level officers. This would simply expand it to include all, as you say, but for, for example, the school board. And so it's not, you're not inventing something from scratch. You're just expanding the application of it, right?
Yes, that's correct. The Florida recall law for the 20 charter counties was first written in 1968.
So we've had this ability for quite some time. And for people who aren't familiar with the process, as I read it, you correct me if I'm wrong, but you basically, you're fed up with somebody who has done one of the 7 itemized things that they can be removed from office for. This is not I don't like him or her. This is they've done specific things: malfeasance, misfeasance, neglect of duty, drunkenness, incompetence, permanent inability to perform duties, or conviction of a felony with moral turpitude. And you'd say, they need to go. The governor's not removing them. Let's do it with the citizens. What happens next?
The citizens will get together and they'll form a committee. They have once they mention the word petition, they have 30 days to collect enough signatures to bring the recall process to the first stage. And once again, that recall process only includes 20 counties. The petition process for 500 up to 24,999 electors, they must have 10% of that population to bring forward a proper recall.
And then if it's a larger number, like if it's over 25,000, then it's either 1,000 or 5%, right? That's what so in a county like, let's say, Escambia, where a county commissioner district is running like 44,000, 48,000, somewhere in that vicinity, you're talking about, 20 or 2,000 people, something like that? Would that be the initial threshold?
That would be pretty close, yes.
Okay. And if it's countywide, obviously that number is going to be 5 times larger, but, for individual county commissioners. And then if you get the 5%, that doesn't put it on the ballot. There's then like an approval and then a second petition phase, right?
It has to go before, it has to be looked over. They have to make sure that the signatures, the petitions are valid, and then they will issue what's called a recall petition in defense. And then once the person that's being recalled has been given a chance to answer the recall process, to say, hey, I'm not guilty of that, whatever the case may be, then they will issue a recall petition in defense, and then that has to go back to that area, and they have to collect a total of 15%
Right.
of the electorate.
And you mentioned an important point is that when you make the accusation and you bring 5%, if that's the right population, then they get a chance to respond. You bring a 200-word summary of what they did wrong, then you get 5%, and then the elected official gets a 200-word response. Those both get printed on the petition form, the second round of petitions, where you've got to get 15%. If you get 15%, then it actually goes to a specific recall election where you've got to get a majority, right?
Yes.
All right, so that's the process. My first question is, was this because of a specific commissioner? Was this a general frustration? You know, what was the reason that you guys started pushing for this?
For me, the thing that started the whole thing, I just had a general frustration with what was going on at a national level and also here in Santa Rosa County. There's just a building frustration with our Board of County Commissioners. So I started questioning, what can we do to get rid of these guys? And I mentioned recall, and they said, well, you can't recall anybody here. I wanted to know why not. I'm an inquisitive guy.
Yeah.
I started asking a lot of questions. And I talked with some powerful people in Tallahassee. And one of their suggestions was take the existing Florida statute and see if you can extend it to all 67 counties. And I thought that was a great idea, and that's what we moved forward on.
And if this were to happen, okay, you got to get a bill in both houses, and it's got to go for a vote as a constitutional amendment, and so we would have to all approve it as voters for the whole state. Is that that's right? That's for the process from here on out, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It has to go into the House. It has to pass through the committees in the House, and then it goes before the House for a vote. Once it goes to the House for a vote, it has to receive 3/5 of the representatives with an upvote for it to move on to the Senate. And then it's going to do what it does in the Senate. The Senate also has to approve it for a 3/5 upvote because it's a constitutional amendment. And then once that happens, it'll go on. It'll be placed on the 2022 ballot for the citizens of the state of Florida to vote for it. And that, to our best estimate, me and my co-founder, Carmen Reynolds, to our best estimate, that's over 8 million people. And that's 60% of the vote. They have to say, yeah, that's what we want. If it's 59% or 58%, it's a no-go for us.
Right. Chance John Meyer, he is the founder of Recall Florida, trying to get an amendment to the Florida State Constitution that would allow citizen-led recall efforts against county-wide elected officials or county commissioners in non-charter counties. Chance, this last year, I know we had J.R. Williamson filed this. It got through, a committee or two and died in the House because it didn't have a Senate companion. This year, you're in the process of drafting, but you've got both a House and a Senate sponsor. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Senator Joe Gruters has agreed to be the Senate sponsor for our bill.
Chance, are we there? Are you there, sir? Oh,
yes, are you still
good.
with me?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah, Senator Joe Gruters has agreed to sponsor it this year. Last year, HBR 1603 made it into the House. It passed through the first committee with a unanimous upvote from all of the members. So we were really encouraged by that.
Yeah.
It went to the second committee, as you said, because we didn't have a Senate sponsor. It stopped there.
The only question I have for you, I support this entirely. This makes perfect sense to me. If we're already going to have it for some, we should have it for any county that has this. And look, give the people the power to recall elected officials. If the governor won't remove them, we should have the ability to remove them just as well. My one question for you is, why did you decide to go for the recall as opposed to going for 2-year terms, which would make people constantly have to get reelected, as in constantly reapproved? Just a tactical question, why that versus the other?
There's a lot that goes on. I'm sure you've been watching the things that are going on in Escambia County and things that are going on in Santa Rosa County.
Absolutely.
Frankly, we're a mess. And all it takes is one meeting for a commissioner to put forward something that is just absolutely ludicrous. Now, even with the 2-year term, which I agree with, I think we should have limited terms for our elected officials. Even with that, they can pass down a measure that causes long-term problems for each county. So it is our opinion that the citizens should have the power that if this individual steps forward and commits an act of misfeasance, for example, which is a legal act done in a wrong way, that the citizens can gather, if they're upset enough about the decision made by that county commissioner, they can put forward a recall process and remove that individual.
Well, yeah, and it makes sense to me because the timeliness of that is faster than a year and a half, or whatever. You might have to wait for another election. That makes sense to me, too. Well, Chance Jehlmeyer, he is the founder of Recall Florida. If people want more information, what do you want them to do?
Well, I'd like for them to go to recallflorida.com and by all means join us on Facebook at Recall Florida, our group page, as we're approaching 4,000 members. Join us, invite your friends. Let's become a powerful force to our legislators to let them know that we're tired of corrupt county commissioners.
And, feel free to contact your state representative, your state senator, and encourage them, just like you would do by joining the group. Chance, thanks for the time. Thanks for doing what you're doing to bring a little bit more accountability to our local elected officials. I appreciate it, sir.
Thanks, Andrew. You guys have a good day.